The constitutional republic is the intended form of government in America, and it corrects several misconceptions in the argument. Hello, this is Dan Mason. Here, I outline my rebuttal to those who say we are not a republic. The Constitution established a republic, not a democracy, and that difference is everything to say, what difference does it make? Whether we live in a constitutional republic or a democracy is to misunderstand the very foundation of American governance fundamentally. It makes all the difference, philosophically, structurally, and morally. Let's begin with facts, not feelings. 1. The United States is a constitutional republic, by design, not by accident. The preamble to the Constitution is not a form of government, it's a mission statement. It begins, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union," and outlines goals: justice, tranquility, defense, welfare, and liberty. However, the structure that follows is not democratic mob rule. It is a system of checks and balances explicitly created to prevent democracy from destroying liberty. Don't take my word for it. Here are the founders in their own words. James Madison, Federalist Number 10. Democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention, and have in general been as short in their lives as they have been violent in their deaths. Benjamin Franklin, when asked what kind of government the convention had created. A republic, if you can keep it. A republic means we elect representatives to govern under the rule of law, not majority mob rule. Democracy, in its pure form, is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. A republic protects the sheep. 2. A republic protects the individual. Democracy sacrifices the individual. In a republic, the Constitution restrains government power even when the majority wants to infringe upon rights. That's why we have a Bill of Rights, to ensure no law can override your freedom of speech, religion, assembly, self-defense, or due process, even if 90% of the population wants it gone. Democracy, unchecked, is tyranny in disguise. Look around today. Our national dysfunction stems not from too much adherence to the Constitution, but from its abandonment. We've allowed bureaucratic overreach, judicial activism, executive fiat, and media manipulation to drive us further away from Republican principles and into democratic chaos. 3. We, the people, did not consent to mob rule. We ratified a lawful framework. You argue that we, the people, allowed it. True. But what did we allow? We allowed the erosion of the republic by letting courts legislate, letting presidents rule by executive order, and letting unelected agencies dictate our lives. That's not the Constitution's fault, our failure to enforce it. The founders gave us a tool. We left it to rust. It's time we rediscover limited government. It's time to reclaim our republic, not through riots or populist revolutions, but through restoring the rule of law, the separation of powers, and a moral citizenry rooted in responsibility, virtue, and biblical principles. 4. Unity without truth is tyranny in disguise. Yes, there's more of us than them, but what matters if we're unified in error? Unity is only a virtue when grounded in truth. The Constitution was created not to unite people in mob sentiment, but to restrain power, especially collective power, when it turns tyrannical. You say democracy is why we're divided. No, the division comes from confusion, ignorance of civics, and eroding the moral foundation required for liberty. Democracy is the disease. Constitutional republicanism is the cure. Final word. If you've read the Constitution and concluded we're a democracy, you've read it poorly. The founders were crystal clear. They feared democracy. They did not trust the passions of the crowd. They gave us a republic. Deliberate, slow, bound by law, grounded in the idea that rights come from God, not government. That's what makes all the difference. If we return to the Constitution, we will find unity, not in numbers, but in truth.